Hello and welcome. This is Paul Benyon, one of the sales engineers at Hard Dollar, and today we're going to learn about how you can handle forecasting when you're doing your project controls in Hard Dollar. And you can see we have a project open. I'm in the job tracking register, and we're going to jump into this clearing and grubbing item. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up into its job tracking record. You'll notice I'm on the production details tab. What this tells me is what is my production compared to what was planned. You can see that I can express my production in days, shifts, hours, whatever way I'd like. And we see my planned production was that we would do 1 acre per day, this blue line over on the left. But it also gives me information based on the actual work that's being done. And I have 3 entries that have come in from the field. On each of those I have a certain percent complete or quantity completed that we did that day. Based on that, we can average those up, and that gives me this average production of 0.6 per day that we're doing. We can see it's pretty far below what I had planned. And then I also have this green line, and what that shows me, it kind of plots the trend line here of each point of these is each entry that's come in, and it tells me what my latest as-built production has been, which is just 0.3 on that last entry. Where this comes into play with forecasting is I can forecast where I'm going to end up as far as man hours go, equipment hours, and also costs based off of any one of these production values. In other words, if I choose planned production for my forecasting, that is saying that from here on out for the remainder of the work, I think things are going to go the way that I had planned. And if we look at my man-hour details, I see my forecasting is based on that. It tells me that for my man-hours, I'll be at 513 man-hours at the end if things go as planned, which is still more than my 480 man-hours. Get the same kind of feedback with equipment hours. And if I go over to my forecast details tab, you can see that it tells me what my cost variance will be, where the planned total cost was $27,390 when all is completed. It tells me that I'll end up at $28,096, a variance of $706 if things go as planned for the remainder of the work. Now, if I jump back to my production details tab, I can also choose one of these other options. And as you're doing the work, maybe when you first start, I'm at 0% to the first 10, 20%, you're safe to go with planned production. But now, as we're getting more detail, we may decide to base it off of one of these other trend lines, such as the average production. So if I look at the average production, notice my forecasted cost jumps up from $700 to $3,925, almost $4,000. Maybe that's a better indicator of how things are going to go on for the remainder of the job. Or I could base it off of my last entry that came in which case we would end up almost $30,000 over at completion. That latest as-built production can be very handy for forecasting in the sense that I could create a dummy entry, enter it in here, and base a forecast off of it to try a new scenario and see where I'll end up. So that wraps up forecasting in the Hard Dollar tool to see where you'll end up at the end of each of these tasks and at the end of the job. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you next time.